And what part of you is thinking, I helped elect Donald Trump?
A whole lot of me was thinking, oh my God.
Former FBI Director James Comey has had a big week on the media circuit to promote his book, A Higher Loyalty, and of course, talk all things Trump. First up, ABC News aired Comey's sit-down with George Stephanopoulos on Sunday night. During the interview, Comey called President Donald Trump morally unfit for the job and said he believes that the Russians could have compromising information on the commander-in-chief, a concept he finds stunning.
Yeah, it is stunning, and I wish I wasn't saying it.
Comey also confessed his belief that Clinton would beat Trump in the 2016 presidential election probably played a part in his decision to disclose the investigation into her emails, though he wasn't consciously thinking about it. There were also moments of levity during the interview, for example, when Stephanopoulos asked Comey about his first impression of Trump when they met on January 6, 2017. He had impressively coiffed hair that looked to be all his, quipped Comey.
He looked slightly orange up close with small white half moons under his eyes, which I assume are from tanning goggles.
The sit-down averaged 9.8 million viewers and a 2.4 rating in the news demo of adults 25 to 54 for the network, not even half of what Anderson Cooper's 60 Minutes interview with Stormy Daniels earned with its 22 million viewers. Trump was quick to fire back at the man he fired, taking to Twitter on Monday to call Comey disgruntled and accusing him and others of having committed many crimes. Meanwhile, Comey had more stops on his tour. Next up, an appearance on CBS's Late Show with Stephen Colbert. The host poured Pinot Noir into paper cups for the two in commemoration of what Comey did after being terminated by the president. The late-night host and former FBI director then toasted to the truth and began their chat. Like many others, Colbert was curious if Comey thought Trump could turn his presidency around. His reply? I think it would be hard at this point. He doesn't seem to have reference points in his life.
As far as I can tell, his reference point is entirely internal. What will fill the hole in me and get me the affirmation that I need?
Comey, who prosecuted mafia members in his former career, also noted the similarities between Trump and mob leaders he worked to bring down. The leadership style is strikingly similar, Comey pointed out. When I first thought that, I pushed it away because it seemed too dramatic to be apt.
I mean it in the sense that he leads, it's all about the boss.
Comey also told Colbert that he was quite surprised to be fired.
I'm leading the Russia investigation. Even though our relationship was becoming strained, there's no way I'm going to get fired.
And as for those numerous Trump tweets aimed at him, Comey says he just shrugs it all off.
He's tweeted at me probably 50 times. I've been gone for a year. I'm like a breakup he can't get over.
On Wednesday's episode of The View on ABC, the host mixed some fun questions into their chat with Comey, asking who he would like to play him in the film adaptation of his book.
My kid's vote would be for Kyle Chandler from Friday Night Lights.
I love him! The show's co-host threw out a number of alternate suggestions, including John Cusack and Vince Vaughn. Whoopi Goldberg even offered herself up, joking, I feel I could do you justice. Of course, the interview also featured more pressing questions, in particular from Meghan McCain, who accused Comey of simply writing the book for money and attention and criticized him for writing a tell-all.
I don't think of it as a tell-all. It's a whole lot more than the stories that are in the last few chapters of the book.
And perhaps the toughest stop on the press tour was Thursday's hard-hitting interview on CNN's The Lead with Jake Tapper. Right off the bat, Tapper asked Comey about two breaking news stories CNN was reporting: that the Justice Department had submitted a criminal referral on former Deputy FBI Director Andrew McCabe, and reports that the Department of Justice would soon begin sharing with Congress Comey's memos of meetings with Trump. Tapper also brought up reporting that Trump believes he has weathered Comey's book tour or made it through unscathed. When the host asked whether that assessment is accurate, the former FBI director replied,
I have no idea. The book tour is not about the president. It's about my hope that I can be part of facilitating a conversation about our values.
Comey has reiterated all week that the purpose of writing the book was to be useful in providing an account of what good leadership looks like based on his experiences, and he told Tapper this.
I couldn't write about ethical leadership and illustrate it with stories without telling stories of someone I think fails to reflect the values of an ethical leader.
One question he refused to answer was Tapper's probe of whether Hillary Clinton would have been a better president, offering only that he thought Trump was legitimately elected. Tapper also repeatedly challenged Comey to confront how people might take his assertion in press appearances that it's possible the Russians had leverage with Trump, and to substantiate his claims. Comey refused to discuss what he learned in the investigation, which is classified. After multiple back and forths, Comey said, there is a reason I say it's possible. One thing is that the president is constantly bringing it up to me to deny it.
And then second, I've always been struck in my encounters with him that he wouldn't criticize Vladimir Putin even in private.
And finally, Comey sat down with MSNBC's Rachel Maddow Thursday evening on The Rachel Maddow Show, where he recounted having a discussion in the Oval Office with the president about prostitutes and Putin.
And he told you that he'd had a personal conversation with President Putin about hookers?
Yes.
When asked if it was known if Trump had had personal conversations with Vladimir Putin at that point, Comey confessed that he couldn't recall.
Well, I think there was public reporting that he had spoken to Vladimir Putin as sort of a welcome, congratulations on taking office thing at that point.
Unsurprisingly, Trump has continued to be very vocal on Twitter about his feelings towards Comey, calling him everything from a slimeball to the worst FBI director in history. Meanwhile, in his Critics Notebook, The Hollywood Reporter's Frank Scheck had this to say about Comey's TV appearances. It's a disconcerting spectacle. It's hard to imagine, for instance, J. Edgar Hoover chatting it up with Joy Behar and Whoopi Goldberg. It almost makes you nostalgic for the days when the FBI was led by a despotic puppet master who pulled president's strings. You can bet that if Hoover was still in charge, he'd be holding on to that alleged P-tape and using it as leverage. Looking back on the week, according to Scheck, it's clear that he missed his true calling. He was good at law enforcement, sure, but he's even better at sucking up to talk show hosts. To read much, much more on James Comey's press tour for his book A Higher Loyalty and to watch full clips of all of his media appearances, head to THR.com. For The Hollywood Reporter News, I am Lindsay Rodriguez.